Hey, home groups. This is a huge text of scripture, isn't it? That we looked at Sunday. There was so much to cover that we really couldn't dive into it in all of its detail. But I think that we could see the flow of the argument that Jesus is making here with these religious leaders. And he's teaching us some very valuable lessons about saving faith. In fact, there are three actions that saving faith produces that we see in this particular text. As Jesus declares himself to be the light of the world, the very first action that we have to think about is that we must focus on Jesus. Saving faith focuses all of our attention, all of our affection, all of our desires, all of our thinking upon Jesus. We set our minds on Jesus. We fix our gaze on Jesus. If you picture yourself walking in a dark cave and the guy in front of you has the light, you keep your eyes fixed on the light so that you can see the way out. Because if you take your eyes off the light, you begin to stumble in the darkness. You become a slave of the darkness. You can't escape. Focus on Jesus. Saving faith focuses on Jesus. But that focus, what does that focus really mean? What are we talking about when we focus on Jesus? Well, saving faith recognizes that Jesus is Yahweh, the Son of God. He is the God of the Old Testament. He's the God who created the universe. He's the God who divided the Red Sea and carried Israel out of Egypt's captivity. He's the God who caused Jericho's walls to fall down flat so Israel could storm in and take the city. He's the God who worked miracles through Elijah and Elisha and countless other stories throughout the Bible. This is who Jesus is. It's a recognition that He is God. And it's an acceptance of that. If we focus on Christ, it's because we have seen and recognized and understood and accepted that Jesus is God. But really, what does that mean to accept Him as God? How do I know if I'm focusing on Jesus and accepting Him as God? Well, that's the third action that Jesus drives into in this text, is that saving faith submits to Jesus as God. It's impossible to say that you walk in the light while stumbling around in the darkness. You either live in the pool of light that comes down from Jesus, which is His Word, and walk in that light, submitting to His words and His instructions as true and reliable and safe, life-giving words, so that you can navigate your way out of the darkness, or you don't. And if you don't submit to Him, it's because you don't really believe Him. You don't believe the words are valuable. You don't believe the words are true. You don't believe the words are reflective of reality, and so you don't do what they say. If you believe a plane will get you from point A to point B safely, you get on the plane. But if you don't believe that, you don't get on the plane, because your life is in danger. You see, your actions flow from your faith or your lack thereof. If you believe in Jesus, you submit to Jesus. If you submit to Jesus, it's because you have recognized and seen and accepted that He is God. And that's what it really means to keep your eyes focused on Jesus. Saving faith focuses on Christ. Saving faith recognizes that Jesus is God, and saving faith submits to Jesus as God. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that your heart is encouraged to keep seeking Jesus.